Hello. Hey, hi. Can you hear me?
Yep. Hey, hi. This is Anu joining.
Hi, Anuj.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening, all the alumni members. How are you?
Fine. Good evening, sir. How are you?
All well.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir.
Nice to see you all.
Likewise, sir.
I think it will be almost 5 minutes more, so people must be joining. So we can wait for at least 5 minutes more. So how are you, Dr. Deepak ji? How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Sir,
Okay.
sir, do you remember me, sir?
Yes. For our initial batches and tech, yes, we know.
Yeah, exactly, sir. Exactly. If you remember, Lokesh and Varun was working with you at that point of time in that on that GPS system, sir.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Nice to meet you. So great. And Praveer, how are you? And I think Chandan has joined. Chandan, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, great. Great. So members are there. Nice. So I have little actually. I am giving you little trouble during weekend. All of you must be having some prior engagements, but I think your this effort will encourage our students to actually think about making their career in this domain. So I think your guidance will be very valuable to them. So I hope so that they will be benefited by your guidance. Anuj, have you joined, please?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me? I just got disconnected for a second. I'm back again.
Oh, great. Okay, okay. So you are currently in Bangalore, am I right?
Yes, actually, I'm shunting between Bombay and Bangalore. I spend my weekends in Bombay and weekdays go in Bangalore.
Okay. Fine. Nice. And I think Rohit has also joined. Rohit ji, are you there?
Hi, sir. Evening. I'm there, sir.
Oh, great. So you are currently in Delhi, I understand, isn't it?
Sir, traveling Delhi, Raipur, and Hyderabad.
Okay.
Three locations.
So in fact, I will be excited to listen your journey actually in the during discussions. Initially, I think our student coordinator Arvind will be introducing all of you, and we will have. We would like to know your journey about and what people are doing. So it will be very encouraging, in fact, to students as well as to me also to know your journey. Yes.
That starts from college only, sir. So
Yeah.
definitely it's a great time to connect back, sir.
So in fact, we are planning to hold this alumni meet in November because in August actually this COVID cases were increasing. So our management decided that we should shift it to November between 4, 5, and 6. So very soon we will be publishing the schedule and registration process will start. And there also we are planning one industry academia conclave kind of session towards the third day, last day. So if you people can find some time for that, I think it will be of 3 hours roughly. So it will be very beneficial because being in Allahabad, we want more connection with industry. And so I hope ki with your support, with your actually little inputs, how we can make it more successful or purposeful. So I hope that will be a good event on the last day that we are planning on during the alumni meet last day. Initial first 2 days will be more interaction and enjoyment with the campus, your presence with your family. So those things are there. So I hope we will meet physically. Hello. Hello, Arvind. Are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay. Fine. So,
Can we start, sir?
yes, I think you may please start.
Okay, sir. So, good evening, one and all present here. I, Aravind, MBA second year student and also student coordinator for today's program, take this pleasure to welcome one and all. Thank you everyone for taking time and joining the session. So, today we are going to have our webinar on the topic venturing in entrepreneurship. So, for the proceedings, I would like to call upon Anupam sir to speak a few words.
Thank you, Arvind. A very good evening to all our dear alumni members, our students, and all other attendees of this webinar. And this webinar is on Alumni Students Mentorship under this Venturing in Entrepreneurship track. And our earlier webinar was under the Placement track, which was organized on 25th June. So I think this guidance of our alumni in different domains to our young students who are currently studying at IIITA is very fruitful for their career. And so actually before that we had organized an orientation program also, which was actually for newly admitted students, how they can plan their stay, how can they make their stay more fruitful. So these, I think, kind of activities, I think, are very useful for our students. So I am very thankful to our all accomplished 10 alumni members to be part of today's webinar and for agreeing to guide their younger brothers and sisters who are currently studying at IIITA. And I understand that with the mission and vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, that Make in India kind of thing. So here this venturing in entrepreneurship domain is very, very important in current scenario. And there we would like, IIIT has already given a lot of encouragement to our current students. In this, actually, we have a full-fledged cell for this. So with your guidance and advice, probably we will further nurture it and get support. Our students will get support from all of you. And the thing is that first thing comes in mind when you are trying in this domain is some risk is involved. Like you want to have your startup, you have from IIIT when you graduate, you have a good job from campus and others, and many students have a lot of questions in mind. How it is it safe to venture in this domain, and what kind of problems will come, and how to overcome those problems, and all these things. So I hope students have already submitted several questions in this regard. Probably those questions will clarify all the doubts of our students, and we will have few more actually questions, live questions towards the end. So I'm sure that this webinar is going to be very, very fruitful to our students. And once again, I thank all our alumni members who gave their precious time to guide our current students. And I want to thank Rachit Rawat for agreeing to coordinate this event, and Arvind for necessary preparation, our alumni staff members, Ankriti and Santosh, for doing necessary preparation. So with these words, I welcome all of you, and I hope this webinar will be very fruitful for our current students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable words. So now I would like to call upon our panelist, our esteemed alumni, to give that brief introduction. So first up, we have Mr. Rachit Rawat, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Arvind, and thank you, Anupam sir, for organizing this seminar. So I am Rachit. I am the founder of app called Party Hunt, which is a mobile app to discover and promote music events in Goa. Currently, we are the market leader in Goa with 150,000 registered users, and we have listed over 35,000 events from 1,200 event venues in Goa. And I'm a BTech pass out from 2010 batch, and currently we are in expansion phase. We are expanding our operations to multiple cities across the country. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So next, we have Mr. Rohit Srivastava, sir. Mr. Banod, sir, will be introducing himself. Pardon. Sir, you're not audible, sir.
Oh, sorry, I was in mute. Good evening, Anupam sir, and everyone at everyone at the IIIT Allahabad. My name is Banut Rajashekar. I am a BTech graduate from the 2013 batch EC. I am a founding team member at the OneCode and currently leading the product management as well as the product designing verticals at the OneCode. Just to give a small glimpse on my journey so far, in my college days, I used to work on several startup ideas. I used to shut down because of the lack of advice as well as the scalability issues. Then I joined a Times Internet as a UX designer to understand how things works in actual at large scale product based companies. Before that, I started before we start another idea. Then there I have promoted as a product managerial role. That role helped me to like build up large scale products as well as to sharpen my entrepreneurial skills. at some extent. Then I was started. We started started working on one code, and as a first founding member, I got an opportunity to work on various areas to contribute. Starts from the product branding, building an early team, product designing, product management, growth hacks with the limited capital, how to you can utilize to get the maximum output, and like all the infrastructure when you actually on the early stage or how things are going to be happen. All this I used to be taking care of there. And then from the day one, parallelly, we have been raising a fundings back to back every 5 6 months. And last round, we have raised a $30 million from the India's global top VCs, the GC. And earlier, we raised a pre-series round from the Nexus Venture and the Sequoia. And currently, I'm helping out the several early stage founders and product manager and the UX designers, where I have some extent of expertise. I'm trying to help them out, as well as I'm evaluating a few early stage startups for the angel investments as well. So finally, happy to be here. Thanks once again. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to call upon Rohit Srivastava, sir.
Hi, good evening all. My name is Rohit Shrivastava. I've done my MBA from IIT 2009-11 batch. I'm co-founder of the Path Technology. It's a technology consulting firm. Spent some time with HCL, Ernst & Young's, PwC, and my co-founder is my friend, my wife, and batchmate of IIIT, the same batch. She spent almost 8-10 years with KP, and gradually we realized it's time to. Pardon, sir? So we realized in 2018 we have started our initiative, which is DPAR, giving consulting to multiple state government, center government, enterprise like Tata Group and all. So now, in fact, we got some equity from central government also. So one of the mighty SPV is having stake in us, and that's how we are just learning and moving toward the development of last mile, which is National Rural Livelihood Mission and other central government initiative. We are promoting and helping and learning in this domain. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Further, Mr. Gyanveer Singh, sir. I think he's not here. So further, we have Anuj Bajpai, sir.
Hi, this is Anuj. I'm from the 2005 IT batch. After IIIT graduation, I actually worked in consulting for about 10 years, 3 years in ZS, and did my MBA, worked for McKinsey for another 7.5, 8 years. At Liquid, we are building a wealth tech platform. It's for people who do not understand stock market so well. So basically, we are kind of creating an autopilot through which you could invest in stocks, you could track your money, you could get sane advice at very, very cheap rate. So that's the overall goal. Very happy to be part of the this discussion here, and look forward to hearing from other panelists as well. But that's a quick brief about me.
Thank you, sir. I would like to call upon Jayati Chandra, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. First of all, very glad and humbled to be here in the midst of this very achieved alumni. So I started my journey back in college itself during my third year. I'm the founder of Inbotics Technologies. We basically work in hiring department. So during the placement season, I realized that companies are hiring people, but they don't have a way to kind of get more insight into the candidate during the interview stage. So I wanted to build that's what got me started thinking about the problem of hiring and sourcing, and that's how I jumped into it. So my journey here is like pretty much how you all are as well, because I started right in college itself without having any experience. So that was very challenging. I hope I can contribute to some of my experience to your journey. And so currently, we after raising a seed round, about sorry, about 15 lakhs of funding. After that, what happened was that COVID came and we were into hiring. So I unfortunately couldn't sustain due to multiple reasons. But don't worry, it all turns out well. I'm about to go for my master's to HEC Paris. So I guess the question that sir had mentioned before, what happens if you if it doesn't work out, it does turn out fine. So yeah, thank you so much for inviting me, and I hope to listen to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Further, I would like to call upon Siddharth Bharadwaj, sir.
Hi, I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. I'm the co-founder and CTO at Beethoven right now. And like my passion for music and tech both started at IIIT Allahabad, and where I did a chord recognition project, a very small semester project under US Tiwari sir. But since then, I've been involved with the research space in music and tech. I completed my master's from Barcelona at the Music Technology Group in 2016. And post that, I've been working with several different startups on problems related to signal processing, music, audio, speech, all sorts of problems, and in the audio space. And then I also co-founded the music tech community in India, which aims to bring together a network of music makers, technologists, and people who are generally curious about this niche, very niche kind of space. And last year, I co-founded this music tech startup called Beethoven.ai. What we are essentially doing is trying to create a music creation tool for video and podcast content creators. And we launched last month, and our biggest milestones have been we have raised $1 million in venture capital from Entrepreneur First and InfoEdge Ventures. We have worked with more than 200 plus artists and have 2000 plus creators using our tool right now within the last month. Yeah, that's a brief about me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So further, I would like to call upon Dr. Deepak Kumar Singh.
Hi, everyone, and thanks, Arvind, and thanks, Anupam sir, for inviting me here. So I completed my MTech in 2006, and after that I joined PhD from IIT Kanpur. And at the end of my PhD, I started this company, Insist Labs. So we are into providing AI and ML solutions for different companies. So our client list includes Hitachi. We have 3 clients in Big Four, Mahindra and Mahindra, etc. So we normally provide small tools which are related to AI and ML. Apart from that, I am advising several incubation centers throughout India, including IIIT Lucknow. I'm also visiting faculty in IIIT Lucknow, teaching the courses related to AI ML. And currently, I'm consulting UP government on different policy matters like startup policy and AVGC policies, etc. So thanks everyone for inviting me here, and that's all from my side.
Thank you so much, sir. So further, I would like to call upon Praveer Neeraj, sir.
Hello everyone, a very good evening, and I am really very thankful and glad to IIIT for inviting me on this occasion. So my name is Praveer Neeraj. I am a 2018 batch pass out, MBA IT pass out. I have worked with a couple of Big Fours, and still I'm working with one of the organizations, which is BTE Serve India Private Limited. Mostly I've worked in ITGC, IT risk advisory, in advisory capacity, and as an auditor. My journey as a startup, as an entrepreneur, that started way back in 2017. So with a basic focus in mind to contribute to local economy in manufacturing and service sector both. So for next 2 years, I continued ensuring that I invested my time, effort, and money into a startup which was GTP Green India Private Limited. So that's a complete agro commodity exporter, focuses mostly on farmers and the yield and produce. Then next I invested into My Stylish India, which is a fitness brand based on franchisee model. So we used to work with a lot of gym owners so that their income also increases. And third startup, which I still have and is doing successful, is a local investment which I have made. So that's a franchisee manufacturing firm with ACC, which is into building sector. So that's all about me. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, sir. And now I'd like to call upon the final panelist, Mr. Chandan Agarwal, sir.
Hi everyone, my name is Chandan. I was in IIIT Allahabad from 2004 to 2006, did my MBA from there. And since then, I've had I would say, quite an amazing ride upwards, thanks to Triple IT. I started my career with a media research company called TAM. Then I moved to Network 18, CNBC, and I was heading research there. But again, then that's when I started to create new things. And I'm going to get slight different twist on entrepreneurship, because instead of owning my own organization, I've been an entrepreneur within an organization. So I joined Bennett Coleman in 2011, and I launched the channel called ET Now. And within the first 1 year itself, we were able to gain market share from up to around 1/3 of the entire English business news genre. And then finally, I moved to Hindustan Unilever Limited, which I'm sure you all would know. And claim to fame for me is I've launched a new capability to keep Unilever as an organization future fit, which is called People Data Center, which is all about predictive analytics, digital listening and stuff. I launched that in 2014, and what I was able to do with lot of rigor was secure internal funding, align internal stakeholders. Believe me, that's not easy in a MNC like Unilever. And from 1st of July this year, I've moved to being a global director of Unilever, where I'm leading global capabilities of advanced analytics and predictive analytics. I believe learning is a continuous process, and I'm also pursuing my PhD from IIT Delhi currently. So I'm pretty much into that. And before I hand over to Arvind back, I'll just like to talk about my purpose. My purpose is to celebrate life, create joy, and embrace challenges with a brave heart. And the reason I'm here is because I like to create joy for others. And I hope that by doing this call with everybody, I'll be able to help you guys, which will bring some joy for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So for the further proceedings, I would like to call upon Mr. Rachit Rawat, sir, Alumni Coordinator for the event, to handle the program.
Yeah, thank you, Arvind. So I would also like to give a brief introduction again, because I think I got disconnected earlier. So I was mentioning, yeah, I founded Party Hunt back in 2018. It's a mobile app that helps people to discover and promote music events in Goa. And so far, we are a bootstrap startup, and I'm a solo founder working with an internationally diverse team of 5. And having said that, let's start our session for today. So we will keep the session quite interactive and open for everyone. I will be asking questions which I have received from Arvind, which are from the students of our college. So feel free to jump in and answer any question. You can raise your hand. Whoever wants to answer the particular question, they can raise their hand and take that up. So starting with that, I would like to have ask, how did you get the idea that you are working on currently, and what was the first thing that motivated you to be an entrepreneur? Like leaving your 9-to-5 job and jumping into entrepreneurship takes a lot of courage and guts. So what was that first thing that motivated you to get into entrepreneurship? So Anuj sir, would you like to take up this question first?
Yeah, absolutely, Rachit.
Yeah.
No, so see, I had been in the industry, consulting industry, for about 10 years. By the time I became an associate partner in McKinsey, I was doing a lot of digital builds for large conglomerates in India. We take credit for building one of the first payments bank in India, the first payment wallet for India, the first seamless digital platform for lending in India. So I was doing a lot of fintech work at that point in time. So two things happened. One is I had a bunch of friends in McKinsey who were from diverse backgrounds. I was more like a integrative consultant. I had got a tech team which was doing the same stuff, and a bunch of us got interested in building a fintech product outside of McKinsey. Thankfully, McKinsey is a company which supports a bunch of these things very well. So a few folks came on board. There's a lot of McKinsey alumni who has been founding companies successfully over the years. So that kind of motivated us to step out, try something by ourselves. And eventually now what has happened is it's become like a flywheel. Initially, a few folks from McKinsey came on board as angels. A bunch of new folks joined in who were in their network and so on and so forth. And on the product side, essentially the problem statement that we chose was very immediate to us. So basically, we all have been investing in stocks for so many years, and still it remains like such a big myth. Most people think stocks is either a fluke or a gamble. So we thought we'll change that paradigm and we'll do it for good. But that's about it. So I think the factors that kind of prompted us to do that was, one, of course, our own personal experience over the last few years. Second, realization of a need that we felt we could solve very deeply. And third was, I think, the team. I think the team was definitely one big factor for me to jump out and say, okay, we could do it by ourselves.
Right. Right. Yeah. Thank you for your brief answer. Banod, would you like to add something to that?
Sure, Rajesh. So I would like to add one
Yeah.
thing here. Before,
Yeah.
like earlier, I was a product manager at Times Internet. At that moment, I was used to earning lakhs in month, to be honest. That's not a overnight process, like that, not the overnight decision where you are actually leaving your full-time job and jumping into startup. Parallelly, you used to spend a lot of midnight also, you have to burn on the weekends, and the working day also you have to work on the nights. And so when you do parallelly all this research with your customer, and then you have, and then at the same time you are parallelly reaching out to the angel investors. At the moment when you get the confidence, that time you can able you there is a threshold point, then only you can take a decision like, this is the point you have to jump on the full-time startup. So that's not a over one night decision. That's a you can't blindly jump onto the startup. Parallel, you have to make a path behind as well. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with you there. Jayati, would you like to add something?
I mean, Manoj sir is completely right about it. It's not a overnight thing. So in my case, because I was doing it parallelly with college, for me it was so much about learning. So I was not thinking about raising the funding or anything. It just kind of happened because the problem statement was right. The threshold point was the kind of response I was getting to the problem, for me at least. So so it was more so that what was inspiring me was simply the fact that I get to learn a lot. I was not having a huge opportunity cost back in college because no responsibility, nothing. I was not even earning in third year. So college therefore is the best time to, I felt, to try out new stuff. So I would encourage everyone else to as well. And like sir said, it's not going to be an overnight decision. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Jayati. So like I have another question. So what is a typical day for you as an entrepreneur? So Siddharth, I would like to hear your words. And yeah, hi. Long time, brother. Siddharth,
Hi,
can you hear me?
Richard. Yeah,
Yeah. Hey, hi,
nice,
Siddharth.
nice to see you again, and nice to
Yeah,
see
nice to see
everybody.
you.
And yeah, so the question being a typical day for me. So I am the CTO at my company. So I take care. My responsibilities include mostly product based. So whatever the business goals are that we want to achieve, so planning those, communicating it to the team. Also, like still we are a 1 year old startup, so I have to dig my hands into coding as well from time to time. Then for us, another additional thing is the research team, which we have alongside the development team, because we are a deep tech product. And it's also a remote team. So coordinating everything along with research to development to and tying it all up to the business goals. And along with these, the additional responsibilities that comes as a founder naturally is are the meetings, external meetings, which you have to do. So regarding fundraisers, talking to investors, talking to customers, so all of those, of course, like align the day. And yeah, so that's what a typical day for me looks like.
Yeah. Thank you, Siddharth. Thank you for your insight. Chandan sir, I would like to hear your experience also. I think you are the most experienced one on this panel here. So I would like to know. Yeah.
Look, one thing which I want to tell you, I want to draw some parallels because, I've done roles which are more structured roles and my role of creating PDC. I was given an offer of, moving into it. And a lot of people within Unilever, who I can call my well-wishers or my godfathers in the organization. They called me and they asked me not to take it up because they said it's a very unstructured role, and if you don't succeed in it, then you won't have a future, right? As compared to a structured role where you are structured within the business and you're doing a role, and there is a growth path in the organization. Now, coming to your question, what happens is in a structured role, you know how your typical day would go like. You know what are your weekly, monthly, quarterly deliverables. In fact, you know your annual deliverables also, right? And there is a pretty much a calendarized approach to most of it. And there are troughs and some hikes of work which are relatively small. But when you go to a new role and an entrepreneur kind of role, the fun part of it, or you can also say that the pain of it, is that you don't know how my day is going to be, right? So you move into your off you start your day, and then immediately you get a call that you have a big meeting with somebody, or there is somebody who's there's some panic or something has happened, and entire planning goes for a toss, right? So what I'm trying to say is that it comes with a part and parcel, and people, when they're choosing to be an entrepreneur versus a 9 to 5 job, one very important thing that they have to remember is structured versus unstructured, wherein here anything can come at any point of time. And being an entrepreneur, you can't say that, oh, it's 6 o'clock in the evening or it's Saturday, I'm not available. You are available 24/7, right? So you need to have that kind of a passion and that kind of energy to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, sir. So let's jump on to the next question. So a student is asking how to handle studies with a startup. Initially, when I started working on a startup, things were expected and doable. But as work progresses, it is difficult to manage studies with the work of a startup. So how he can manage both studies and startup at the same time? Anybody who would like to take up this question? Yeah, Jayati? Yeah.
Yeah, so I had a similar journey, right? Studies and startup. I think you have to prioritize. You have to know clearly where you have to pick the race you're running. You can't be like a 9.5 or upwards of that pointer if you have to work full time on a startup or even half time. So you have to be very clear about what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and then you have to define a time period. It can't be like you're spending like 1 4 5 months on an idea and you're not even validating it. Constantly need to keep talking about it, or finding ways to validate it with people. And at the same, and then if it's not working out, take that call that I have to get back into my placement or studies or whatever to maintain that pointer, so that you don't spoil your future. So like define a as much as possible risk, just reduce the risk. You cannot eliminate it completely, but yeah, just prioritize. This is what I did.
Yeah. Thank you, Jayati, for that answer. So next, maybe we can Gyanveer sir, we can you can answer this question. So we have a question from a student. He's asking how to handle failure. Startups are difficult, and failing is a part of it. But when we face actual failure, it's difficult to handle. How to go through that phase and manage it? So basically, how to handle failures in the startup world. Hello, Gyanveer sir, you there? Anybody else who would like? Okay, Jayati, you want to take up this question also? Okay, yeah,
Yes, I'm
sure.
the
Go ahead.
only one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, it's basically because I actually experienced the massive failure of everything shutting down after 3 years of work, right? So it's like all you can know is, for me, was that at least you tried, right? If you're not going to try it, if you're not going to try things, how are you going to know? So you have to be very clear about your motivations. It can't be like a society driven thing. Like, your motive, if your motive is not clear and it is not about, your vision, then you're going to be very disappointed to even get back up. So failure is like a part of it. And if you do not get up, that's actual failure. And so, I mean, that's what happened with me.
Sure,
It's
sure.
not really that bad. I mean, after, you always get a chance to get up, life moves on, right? So yeah.
Right, right. All right. So, next question, Deepak sir, maybe you can answer this question. So, a student is asking, what is the role of persuasion in getting things done with others? Hello, Deepak sir, are you there? Okay, Chandan sir, maybe you can take up this question.
So look, persuasion is a skill which is of utmost importance, and in fact, I say that it's the bigger set of it is called collaboration. So you should be able to collaborate and persuade people, because when you start a journey as an entrepreneur, one thing that everybody has to remember, that we are not supermans, right? So, or super people, if I can make it gender neutral. We will need help left, right, and center. We cannot do everything to ourselves, and that is why to be able to persuade people to do it or to help us is very important. That persuasion can be very much internal. So you persuade your other, committee members, or office members. Can be, external people. Can be with VC for your funding perspective. Can be with your clients. But if you are not able to create a story and sell the story, and just go with that, then your things are not going to get into motion, right? So I think it's one of the most important things for you to have. And we've got some very good case studies, like Microsoft is one of the case studies of how just based on persuasion that business has been made. So I think that's very important.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Chandan sir. Pravi sir, would you like to add something to that?
Yes, Rachit, absolutely. So I would carry forward what Chandan sir has already said. Obviously, for persuasion, in order to convince your suppliers, buyers, because whenever we start up, there is not one single player which we are going to deal with. There are multiple players, multiple stakeholders, just like what Chandan sir or each one of us face in our day-to-day routine with business, right? In any organization. Similarly, it happens, and I'm telling you from my experience, for the very first year, fortunately, I was able to sell 2.5 crore value supplies. And the way how we did it, because we were able to persuade. Now, persuasion comes from, conviction comes from multiple things. One, facts, figures, facts about your products or services, figures about your products and services, USPs, why somebody else should choose your product or service when there are multiple others, right, in the market. Then there comes about one very risky or critical aspect of any business is choosing the mode of payment, right? I would say I have faced it in my market, because my product or services never have been into tech. They are either related to agricultural products, or related to building construction products, and mostly into manufacturing. So there comes a time when you need to be convinced, or either you need to be convinced, or you need to convince someone when there is money of, let's say, 5 million rupees at stake, or 10 million rupees at stake. What is the point in time when you are going to you are going to exchange that money, right? So it's all about conviction with your suppliers, with your buyers, with your technology partners, with your the other manpowers, all of these people.
Yeah. Thank you, Neeraj sir.
Look, I think
Banod, I can
one
see
thing
you
Arif,
raising
I
your
want
hand.
to add
Yeah.
to this question. I think that is
All
absolutely
right.
good that persuasion is important. Actually, the right question should be how to persuade people. And that is something which is very important, because that brings a lot of nuances of you understanding people's personalities before and going for the meeting and preparing yourself for a discussion. Because there are people who will get impressed or excited with the big idea, versus there are people who would want to know exact details, and to the second decimal number, right? So that is more important. So the question is not whether persuasion is important or not. The question should be how to persuade people. And my simple advice to people is, first thing is know your own self. And there is a website called 16personalities.com. I would urge everybody on the call. It takes a 10 minutes quiz, gives you a score, gives you a role of what your personality is. Do that and first figure out your own self. Try to figure out your client, your team members, and all, and then see how you want to operate with those people. Believe me, working becomes much more simple if you just crack personalities of different people. Sorry, I just spoke in between.
Yeah, that's fine, Chandan sir. Banot, yeah, like I think you have raised multiple rounds of funding. You can give us some insight, like how were you able to persuade so many investors back to back again? Banot, you're on mute.
I quickly wanted to add a one point here towards a team, like core team. Rachit here. See, you always keep on pitching your vision. See, to your early team members, you don't have a much capital to put on them, right? The only thing that you can sell them is a story. You keep on keep on showing them the bigger picture of your idea and vision. So that's what the only one thing that I wanted to add what Anupam sir said.
Great. Maybe you can take up the next question also. So another student is asking, name some books that help you to cultivate and enhance entrepreneurial mindset. So any startup book that you have read lately?
So so basically the lean startup 0 to 1. There are few more books are there. I quickly am not able to remember, but you can refer these two books from my side.
All right. Anyone else who would like to add their favorite reads from past few years?
Yeah. So mom's test, I would like to add there. So whoever is doing customer development, trying to gain more insights from their customers, how you should talk to them without explaining them your whole product. So just gaining insights, what's going on in their mind, how are they solving that problem currently. So that's one very important book, very small book, but everybody should read before starting out.
Can you name it again, Siddharth? What's the name again?
The Mom's Test.
All right, the Mom's Test.
If you may write the book name in the chat box, I think it will be beneficial to everybody.
Yeah, so everyone can go through those. Jayati, you wanna name some books? I can see your hand raising.
There's a book called Sprint. It is by Google VC. Basically, it talks about to test the product idea within 5 days. How to test it in 5-day cycles. That's the one. And there's another one called the E-Myth, which actually talks about the mindset you need to get into that entrepreneurial phase, because failure is something we all fear, right? So it just inspires you to get into that. Plus, it gives you a step-by-step basis. So I think those were very helpful. And there's another Inspired for product development. Thank you.
Praveer sir, maybe you want to name few books as well?
Just one, Rachit, I would like to say. I believe most of you have already heard about it. The Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So that's all about creating investments gradually, different kinds of assets. So it's a fantastic book, which will help you how to ensure the security of your investments in future, right? Gradually being a successful investor.
Sure. All right. So next question is, what are the advantages an entrepreneur gets with or without an MBA or management background? So maybe our alumni is with the MBA degree. Mr. Praveer, maybe you can, Praveer sir, you can answer this question also.
Absolutely. So I'll tell you the advantages and maybe probably I'll also hint at the disadvantages. Tech part, we miss because we are mostly involved into the management. Even my work experiences have been mostly into management advisory, risk consulting, audit, all of these things. And coming from that background, less technical experiences. So what happens is you are good at converging all the stakeholders, right? Again, suppliers, buyers, you're different, and suppliers by means of suppliers, not only your product suppliers, but packaging suppliers, your marketing suppliers, the people who will market, who will design those stories, right? The HR, all of these we are good, but where we lack is when there comes the opportunity for integrating your product or services with technologies, right? Or when it comes to patenting, so let's say that I've got an idea about a tech product, but in order to develop that, there I will have a disadvantage. But when it comes to managing that product, right? Managing, not only ensuring that my product goes through the assembly line and gets manufactured, it goes to the market, there is logistics, I'll manage everything, and also ensure that there is a patent for that particular product or service design, right? But in order to develop that product, there the management people will lack, and the tech people may lack the other factors which I've just mentioned. That's it.
Yeah, thank you, Pravi sir. Chandan sir, you want to add something?
MBA is not a rocket science. So first of all, people who are not MBAs, it's not that they won't succeed. MBA is basically jack of all trades, master of none, gives you overall understandings of, organizational awareness, management and all, which can come, pretty much, in a natural way to few people. Few people take more time and there is no harm in it. So it's more about, understanding of how to manage things. I think MBA helps you into a certain way because you are you know a bit of a structure and you know how to go about few things. But I don't think without an MBA you will not be able to succeed, right? So it's an added advantage, but it's not that you cannot be a successful entrepreneur without an MBA.
Yeah, thank you, Chandan sir. So Anu sir, you want to add something? Maybe also you can answer this question in the meantime. Like, do VCs prefer IITians to non-IITians during the funding?
Right. Good. So answer to the second question is very simple. It's no. Otherwise, there won't be any non-IIT startups. And I'll get deeper into that. But I think, see, MBA has both advantages, disadvantages. I think I agree to what the rest of the panelists are also saying. But advantages to me are threefold. I think what Lucknow added to the overall preparation level in terms of starting up was three things. One is, so you get connected to people who eventually will be part of a broader ecosystem which is diverse, right? So as an engineering student, you are connected to people who largely end up doing engineering work. In MBA, you end up getting connected to people who largely end up doing non-engineering work. So it's a great combination of things. The second thing it does is it gives you it kind of helps you cover the blind side of the business, which is everything related to finance, everything related to operations, everything related to the more softer elements, right? In terms of people management, etc. So it gives you a little bit of edge. So now I know how to kind of write a cost sheet. I know how to write a FCFF model in order to kind of present it in front of an investor, tell them that this business is going to be profitable, etc., etc. So it kind of rounds you up a little. The third thing it kind of does is, again, it adds to the pedigree, right? So IIIT itself is a very, very strong pedigree. We've got great set of alums. Now, if you top it up with another pedigree, your chances of starting up with a great set of investors kind of goes a little higher, right? So everything that you keep doing more in life, of course, it adds up to it. But I'm just saying a good pedigree adds to your profile, and it definitely gives you an edge when you go for the seed rounds, particularly, right? Till the point you are able to prove a concept, the confidence of people in investing in you is slightly higher. At least that's what I felt while looking at my batch and the other adjoining batches. To the second question, if IITians are slightly more geared up for success just because of that fact, they've got an insane network, right? I've got one person from IIT Bombay. One of my co-founders he's 3 batches senior to me. He's an IIT Bombay alum. And I think what I feel is he has got maybe 3x of the people that I could go to from the same campus. And that definitely makes a difference. And I'm talking about people who have scaled up digital businesses, so to say. So that is a fact, and it will continue to be a fact because they are sheerly huge in number. But leave that one person apart. The three of us are non-IITians. We have done various different things in life. And I think it's all about the conviction you have, your preparedness as you start up, the kind of thinking time you have invested in just like setting the ground very well. And of course, there are several, leave apart other colleges, there are IIIT based startups which are doing very well. Talk about AdmitCart. I could name a bunch of IU Health and so on and so forth, my batchmates and again adjoining batches. So I think the second question is, it is immaterial, right? Even if the answer to that was yes, nobody will stop you from starting up on an idea that you really want to start upon, right? So again, the competition is not with anyone else and anyone else's pedigree. The competition is much more within when you start something up.
True. Thank you, Anuj sir.
Rachit, can I? Yeah, Rachit, can I say something? So Deepak.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure, Deepak sir. Yeah.
I'm currently mentoring around 14 startups. I've invested in 4 of them, and also I connect them with a lot of investors. So I will answer this from a different viewpoint altogether. So if you don't have MBA, get one. If you don't have an IIT degree, get a person with an IIT degree. So startup is everything about solving the problems. If your investors say, I want an IITian, give a 1% stake to anyone, 2% stake to anyone, ask that guy to be present there in your investor pitch, that's fine. If you don't have an MBA, to try to get a guy who has MBA, or maybe there are a lot of colleges who are giving MBA on Coursera and Udemy. So Chandan is doing a PhD from IIT Delhi. So he is one of the best examples that you can do 2 things at once. And after that, you can use that degree for the funding or maybe for the growth of your startup. So solve that problem if you face that problem. Simple.
Okay. So Deepak sir, maybe you can take up the next question also. Banot, I will come back to you with this question. So Deepak sir, how to get funding for a startup? This is the question that has been asked by one of the students.
The toughest question. So I think everybody who is there in the startup understands this is the toughest question. But what I think, my personal viewpoint is a little bit different. So don't go for funding. That's simple as that. Go for bootstrap. Also, if you face a lot of problems, go for that friends and family round, or triple F round, friend, family, and full round. And after that, don't go for the funding till your product is ready and at least you have 1,000, 2,000 customers on your platform. After that, whenever you will send even a mail or maybe LinkedIn connection to a VC or angel investor, they will ask your number or call on the same day. That's what you have to do. For initial days, don't ask funding till your product is ready and on the platform and got around 1,000, 2,000 customers. So I tell this to a lot of my students and mentees. They normally ask, from where did we get to create this? From where did we get money to create this product? So to create a lot of products, money is not needed. We just think like that. So for example, creating apps, just go for an Android app. It will take hardly 20-25,000 rupees. Just go on Fiverr or Freelancer. Anybody will create your app for you. So you can start with a job. You can make a small. You can say make a separate account. In that account, put around 5,000, 10,000 rupees for around 6 months. You will get around 60,000 rupees, and that's good for a startup. That's good for any startup. If you don't want to go in space tech or rocket tech, that's good for any startup.
Thank you, Deepak sir. Banot and Siddharth, I think they have recently raised funding. So I would like to get both of your insight also. So starting with Banot, would you like to add something, Banot?
Sure, Rajit.
Yeah.
So I would like to take the earlier question, like whether IITs or non-IITs, just to answer that question, they will not prefer IITI and non-IITI. They look for, I will give you the 5-6 anchor points, what actually investors looks at. The idea, what exactly you are solving for, is there any necessity or not? That is the first point. And what is your solution? Is that solution scalable or not? That is the second anchor point. And third, how potential your team is. Like really they are like have the potential to make your ideas into execution, into big picture, big. Can they make the big business out of it? That's the third point. Fourth is who are your competitor, potential competitor, how we are planning to beat them few years down the line, if not now. And then what is your GTM strategy? Can you able to find the PMF or not? So these are the anchor points where actually investors looks at, not at the whether he is from the IIT or not IIT. And this is the first question answer, and adding to the Deepak sir, what he mentioned is I completely aligned with him. What he mentioned. Don't go for an early stage. Don't go for the bigger round of fundings. In that case, investors might take a lot of the portion in your equities, right? So go by step. Let's start with the bootstrap and make a build an MVP first. Build an MVP and just test it out with a certain percent of their target audience, and then evaluate. If you find like if the people are not using your product, that's fine. You can reiterate, make iteration out of it. Talk to your customers and make iterations, and then keep on iterating until you find a solution. And then try to sell, as Deepak sir mentioned, try to sell certain audience where you find कि हाँ इतने लोग को मैं sell कर दूँ, now I have got the confidence. Then go for it, go to the investors, show your traction so that you can better negotiate with them. So that's from my side, Deepak. Yeah.
Thank you, Banot. Yeah. Siddharth, Siddharth has recently raised $1 million funding. So Siddharth, maybe you can give us your insight also on this question. And along with that, maybe you can answer one more question. Who was your mentor in the early days of starting the business?
Yeah, sure. So for the first question, funding wise, like not all businesses are funded VC backable. So VC needs a venture capital firm needs at least 10x the return, whatever they input in your company. So for that to happen, your market needs to be very, very big. So that's the first thing they see. So you should have all of those numbers, but even before you go to any kind of investor talk or meeting any investor. So that is one very big thing. Then, of course, you should know the customer or the market or the tech. So all of these things, either of these things or all of these things, you should have edge over even before you start any kind of investment or funding related talks. And like, I have raised only a seed round and a pre-seed round. So regarding that, like for us, opening up the network or getting those first meetings is the most challenging part of it. And for that, you need to have a very good network. You need to go to conferences. You need to hustle through to those connections because not everyone will accept your LinkedIn connection or not everyone will accept your appointments directly, right? So that's the most challenging part of things. Then of course you need to have all of those numbers in place, those insights, those. And at the seed stage, the primary thing that the investors see in you is the founding team, what kind of background you have, as Anuj sir also said, like what kind of pedigree matters only at that stage primarily. So that would be my insight from the recent fundraise we did.
Yeah, thank you, Siddharth. So like another question is, who can help me in the early days of running my business as a mentor? And anyone who would like to mentor our students also can raise their hands. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anu sir, you can go ahead. Yeah.
Sir.
Sorry, I think Siddharth was already saying something.
Yeah, Siddharth. Sorry.
Yeah, so I forgot to answer that question. So that question for like that, the mentorship side of things for us was taken care of by Entrepreneur First, which is a program where you can go and find your co-founder, and meanwhile they give you salary for 3 to 4 months. And so they took care of all the mentorship for us essentially. So definitely having a mentor helps because you like since I am not an MBA or like I haven't started up before, I was a first time founder. Even my co-founder is a first time founder. So we need to learn quite a few things on the go, and a mentor really helps.
I think, see, 4-5 sources of mentorship, not very difficult to find. One is, of course, I think the best mentors have been our peers. I'm talking about both IIM Lucknow as well as IIIT Allahabad. I think friends who have started something up and are on the journey are one of the best sources to just get on board, and they'll always be available to you. You have no inhibition to talk to them. Like it's always a very black and white conversation. The second set of mentors, of course, is alums. So there is a huge alumni base. The highest hit rate on LinkedIn is always with the alumni base. You just write a LinkedIn message even if you don't get an immediate answer, you'll get it somewhere down the line when somebody checks the mail. And it's always very easy to strike that connect, and it's almost like a homely feeling when you talk to any mentor. So when we were starting up, we talked to a lot of IIIT Allahabad based, like either own startups or people who are CTOs in big startups, and they were kind of the best source of figuring out. The third source actually is something of the sort what Siddharth is also talking about, that there are several programs in the industry that you can very easily enroll on. There are several jumpstart programs which are run by VCs, which are run by angel investors who who are very willing to mentor folks. And all you need to do is just present your case well, talk about what you want to build, show an idea, etc., etc. And more often than not, you'll get selected in that. So in some cases, you'll also get some seed fund, which is an added benefit. The fourth place, which is very less explored right now, is the Startup India program. And I was amazed to see one startup using the entire Startup India podium in a very different way. And we of course registered on Startup India. There was few benefits which we got in terms of AWS space, etc. We never thought about Startup India in terms of leveraging it for finding mentors, but apparently it's a great spot to be, and you could find real mentors on Startup India as a platform. But I think those are the 3-4 things which are very readily available. The more difficult ones are if you want to reach out to a particular mentor that you have in mind. Let's say, for example, you are starting a D2C business, and if you want to have a mentor from a Bombay shaving company or Mamaearth or one of these big D2C startups, that's where you need to toil. And again, the best way to get to some of those founders is again through your own network. So in our case, of course, I think the most potent network we have found is McKinsey, because there are also a lot of founders there. But needless to say, I mean, if you have got any secondary connects that you see on a particular profile, rather than sending a direct LinkedIn message to them, try looking at the common connects and try bombarding them with a few messages. More often than not, you will get connects to people that you want to get to. But the industry is very small, and I think a lot of founders are very open to just having an open chat with anyone who wants to start up. And of course, I would love to mentor. If anyone wants to talk to me, my team, very, very happy to help.
Thank you, Anusa. So actually, we are already running short on time. We have already passed the timeline for this session. But maybe Chandan sir, you would like to add something, and maybe you can also answer this last question: how to scale a new startup or any business.
Sure. So on mentorship, I just wanted to add to what Anuj said. I think he gave some brilliant points. But remember, you have to also understand what is the objective of a mentorship program. A mentor is not supposed to give you answers. A mentor is supposed to help you reflect and identify answers. And there is a bit of a difference in it. So a mentor will only kind of help you realize, reflect of what are the things that you will do, but you will have to do it. So there is nothing you will get something served on a plate. I tell this to a lot of people because I actually mentor close to 8 to 10 people within Unilever, and I tell everybody who comes to me asking for a mentorship that the onus of utilizing my time in the right space is going to be your job, not my job. I will come for the time, but you have to come with the right questions. And that 45 minute slot that you have to encash me. So my ask to all of you is, once you've identified the mentor, and when you are going for your mentorship calls, be very prepared of what is it that you want out of your mentor. That's extremely important. I'll go to the last question, and thanks for giving me that opportunity, Rachit. Honestly, I want to say something. So, guys, see, I believe entrepreneurship is a mix of an art and a science, right? And at Unilever, we say that it's a mix of a what and a how. So you should know what you are doing, but you should also be, understanding, because entrepreneurship gives you a lot of opportunity. But with that opportunity, you also get a responsibility of doing something good. You have a chance of making a real difference in the lives of the consumers. So no matter what you do, and there is a huge open area. There is absolutely, I believe in the theory of abundance. You can go and do whatever you want to do, but always remember that the how has to be right. Your behaviors, your humility. As an entrepreneur, you have to be extremely humble. And you cannot have a scope of having an attitude or ego or anything. And go out there, be a nice human. things will fall into place. Have the passion and understand why you want to do something. Once you crack your purpose, and you're able to relate to the purpose of your business, believe me, there is absolutely no stopping, and you'll be able to scale it up.
Thank you, Chandan sir, for that answer. It was like really insightful. I think we need to wrap it up here. We have already passed the timeline for this session. So, Arvind, over to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for such an eye-opening session, everyone.
Yeah.
So now the floor is open for everyone. So students, if you have any questions, like you can ask on the spot. So,
excuse me, Arvind.
Yes, I think.
Arvind, I wasn't able to see any questions in the chat box. Yeah, I was expecting to see something there.
I think now they're coming up with some questions. So.
Okay.
So anyone from the students who have any questions, you can bring it on.
Actually, there are a couple of questions also left from the questions that we have received earlier, but I just left it out there because we were over time. So maybe you can answer those. So there is like one question a student has asked, what can be the most effective ways to grab attention of your target audience? So anybody who would like to take up that question? Yeah. No, Deepak sir, yes.
Yeah. So here I will take two examples. So if anybody has visited Lucknow, there is a famous biryani shop named as Idris Biryani. You all can go over there, and all the concepts which we normally go through in MBA will be, I think you will see shattering all the concepts over there. So the ambience is pretty bad. It's just situated in front of a nala. The sitting place is very, very bad. The packaging is always, so if you're talking about packaging, ambience is better than that. So that's so bad. They have only one good thing in their kitty, and that's a product, a good product. And they start early from 7. They sell biryani till 8, sitting over there in that bad, broken, you can say dirty counter. They sell this biryani, and they normally what they normally say the galla. So their daily selling is around 2.5 lakh rupees. You can imagine that. Using all the mediums, what they normally sell is 2.5 lakh rupees. That's a data given by IT income tax guys. And they don't have anything except one thing, a good product, nothing else. So as simple as that, just go and visit Idris Biryani or maybe Rahim Nahari. Rahim Nahari's ambience is, you can say, 2-3 notch lower than Idris. You can just imagine. But even then, they are quite full. They got orders not only for India. I have seen people lining up their packaging, doing packaging of their biryanis and taking that biryani to Middle East and to everywhere in the world. Just because their product is good. One of my friends lives in England. He normally, whenever he comes in India, his first task is to go to Idris Biryani and eat the biryani. So just a good product will change each and everything. So start with a good product, and 90% chance that you are successful. Solve a problem, and not only solving a problem just for the customer's sake, for customer's delight. So solve a problem by customer delight, solve a problem so that the customer is delighted and a good product is there. So that's all from my side.
Thank you, Deepak sir. We have like one more interesting question. One student wants to know, is there any, knowing what you know now, is there anything you would have done differently when you were first starting out? What suggestions do you have for us? So Anu sir, you can take up this question, please.
Very promptly raise my hand. See, I would have actually tried to monetize and go over and above productizing the semester studies and semester projects that we did. I remember we built a multi-point video connect software which had a lot of functionalities like screen sharing and sharing files. We went to Tech Kriti in IIT Kanpur, won the first prize, got awards from Mozilla and whatnot. And we just sat on it. We didn't do anything about it. To think of it, like still when we talk as friends, we think it could have been a Zoom. Who knows? So I think just be brave. There are a lot of things that you do as a student over 4 years. All you need is like one inspiration, one idea that you can start working on. And I don't think it is too much of an asking when I say that you could actually over a couple of years productize something and build it out grounds up. And as we heard, I think you don't need so much of money to do that. And again, money is also abundant to build it out, right? I think some of our alums might just fund you for those couple of years if the idea is kind of interesting enough. So my only reflection would be just don't give up on small things which excite you. Don't take them just as hobby. They could actually be something that you would love doing for the next 20 years in life.
Right, Mr. Thank you for that. So I think we can wrap it up here. You're already 10 minutes past our deadline. So Arvind, yeah, over to you.
Thank you, sir. So I would like to call upon Anupam, sir. So if you have anything to speak.
Anupam, sir, your mic is mute.
Oh, I'm sorry. So really, what I want to say that I'm really delighted to see that these difficult questions which were posed by our students were answered in a very simple manner and very effective manner. And I hope this will give them spark to work on your ideas and advice. And I would like to actually request our alumni that if they have any suggestion regarding to increase this kind of environment at IIITA, they can write to me and I will pass on to the concerned official. There is this, good setup now at IIITA. So where if you can want to mentor some startups or you want to provide some help, so you may write to me. I will pass on your suggestions to the concerned people as well as to students. So thank you. And I just briefly indicated in the beginning that we are going to have alumni meet in November 4 to 6. And on the last day, we are planning to have Industry Academia Conclave, where I would like to request you to spend some time during that conclave. And maybe with that, we will have some MOUs with some industries with your help. And in that regard, I will need your support for that kind of thing, because we wish to have some more MOUs with the industries. So with this, I would like to thank from my side to all the alumni students to join this webinar. And this was really very, very interesting webinar. Thank you. Please, Arvind, you may give the vote of thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So for the vote of thanks, I would like to call upon Vibhuti Luthra from MBA second year.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm good evening to all present over here. It gives me an immense pleasure to deliver a vote of thanks for this beautiful evening. I would like to thank Anupam sir, a Dean of Alumni Affairs, and the whole Department of Alumni Affairs for conducting evening. Thanks for all clearing our doubts and making this evening a wonderful one. You all have indeed put your best efforts to make this evening an unforgettable one. Last but not the least, I would also like to thank our college for giving us the opportunity to conduct this session also. And for the students who came out the best audience for this event and a great success for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. We can now disperse, and with thanks to meet again.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Tata. Bye bye. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.